Hi, I'm Vincent, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to find the email address of your leads, and I will show you free and paid options. So let's start. All right, so the first option is to use an email permutator. So you just need to give the first name, last name, and domain. And then on the right, we will generate a lot of emails, and I will show you how it works. So let's try first name Arnaud Bellinga from breakall.com. Generate email addresses. Now you see that I have a lot of email addresses, but which email address is the good one? For that, we just need to click here on Open in Gmail. I'm redirected to Gmail. Then I need to click here on 29 more. Here I have a picture for the right email address. So I know that this email address is good. Now, the next option to find an email is to go on LinkedIn. So the first thing on LinkedIn you can do if you are connected to someone, so here you need to have first, is to click here on Contact Info. And here you see that I have the email address of the lead. And sometimes you even have the phone number, which is perfect. If you don't have an email address here, or if you are not connected to someone, what you can do is to scroll a little bit, and here you can check if you have an email address in the About section on LinkedIn. So for that, let's click on More, we scroll, and here you see that I have an email address. Now, if you use LinkedIn Sales Navigator and you want to export these people and get their emails, so unfortunately, you can't do that natively with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And if you want to have a button like this one, extract leads, you need to use a third-party tool like GiveMeLeads. And then all you need to do is to click here on extract leads. Then you will be redirected to your GiveMeLeads account. Here you can give the number of leads you want to export. So let's say for this tutorial, 50. Here just below, you can say that you want the emails of your leads. And then you click on export leads. And now you see that my export is currently running and I will get the emails of these people. All right, so as you can see, my export is done. So let's click here on Open in Sheets. So here is my list of 50 leads. And you see here the email column with the emails of the leads from LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And if you want to try for free GiveMeLeads, you just need to go on givemeleads.io or you have a link in the description. Then the next option you have is to use Google operators. And for that, you can use, for example, quote, then at, and here you can give the domain you want to target, and here a keyword. For example, here, marketing. And if I scroll, here you see that we have one email address, so knowledgebase@semrush.com. And if I scroll here, I have academy@semrush.com. Here I have the keyword agencies. And if I scroll, you see an email address here, agencies@semrush.com. So what I recommend to do when you use this technique is to use here some keywords and you scroll a little bit to find some email addresses. All right, so this time I want to show you how you can find email addresses using Google Maps. So for that, for example, here I've made a search where I target lawyer in New York. And let's check, for example, the first results. So on Google Map, you will almost never find email addresses directly. But what I recommend to do is to go on the website. And here you will find some email addresses. So most of the time to find an email address on the website, you scroll to the bottom of the website. And here you see that we have an email and we even have a phone number. Now let's check another example. For example, this one. And let's check the website. All right, so here on top, you see that we have a phone number. Perfect. And if I scroll, okay, so here it's interesting. We don't have an email address at the bottom of the website. But if we go here in About Us, that's perfect because here we have the email addresses of these people. So what we can do here is to target specific people in this company. The next option you have is to subscribe to a newsletter, and then you check with which email address the company is sending the newsletter. And here, for example, you see that I can target Andrew from acquire.com. So if you really want to target someone, this newsletter technique works well. Now, the next option you have is to use YouTube. So if you want to target, for example, someone on YouTube, what you can do is to go on a YouTube channel, for example, this one. Then you click here on More. Sometimes in the description, you will find an email, but if you don't have the email here, what you can do is to go on More Info, and here you see View Email Address. So you click here, you have a CAPTCHA, then you click on Submit, and here you see that we have the email address of the YouTuber. So it's perfect if you want to target a media or a YouTuber. Now, the next option you have is to use social media like Facebook, Instagram, or X. And when you go on someone, sometimes you will find the email address. For example, here we have Neil Patel, and here you see his email address. But with this technique, you won't find a lot of email addresses. So that's why I think that this technique is good only if you target just a few people. Finally, the last option I want to show you is to use an email finder tool. So here you see, for example, that I have a list of leads with the first name, last name, company name, and the domain. And now if I want to have the email addresses of these people, I can go on GiveMeLeads. Then once you have your account, you go here and you click on Enrich Contacts. And here you can upload a CSV file or an Excel file. Then we need to map the columns. So first name with first name, last name, company name, and company domain with the domain. And then you click on Enrich 50 contacts. And now I just need to wait a little bit. All right, so let's check our results. So download CSV. All right, so now this time you see that I have the email address of my leads. So from this file, now you see that we have everything we need to start sending cold emails, for example. So you see you have many options to find the emails of your leads. Now, if you want to use GiveMeLeads to find the email addresses of your leads, you can go on givemeleads.io, or you have a link in the description. And now, if you want to start sending cold emails, but you don't know where to start, don't worry, I've made a complete tutorial on that. So if you want to check this video, you can click somewhere on the screen. It was Vincent. I wish you a nice day, and I see you in the next video. Bye bye.